Where my motives at? Where my motives at? Where my motives at? Where they at? Hey, what's good, guys? Welcome back. And of course, we know that it is Black History Month. So the quote for the show is: children should have a balanced start in life, a mother and a father. I think that's the only reason to get married. And that was by Cicely Tyson. I love her, R.I.P. So today, it runs right into the show, but today we're going to talk about age ain't nothing but a number until it's more than a number. But I genuinely want to know what's up with all of the things with age and today's time and being single. And it's kind of like really Sex in the City-ish nowadays, especially being a middle-aged woman that's single. Wow, that's crazy, middle-aged. Would you say like late 30s is middle-aged, right? Yeah. I get a kick out of knowing that I'm like the age of the cast of Friends and like Seinfeld and all that stuff. There's a lot of gems in shows like that. So if you haven't watched them before, by all means, check them out. So let's get right on into it. Age. First off, what is considered older? Of course, we're going to keep it simple. This is 18 and up. We're not even going to go into that when we were kids. I think that for the most part, a lot of women dealt with the older man at some point, when they were teens, I guess I would say. So I'll just leave that there. But what do we consider older? So we say 10 years, like a 18-year-old dating a 28-year-old. A 28-year-old dating a 38-year-old, a 28-year-old dating a 48-year-old. What is older to you? I would say for me, it would be a whole 10 years probably that I would consider as older. So what's the difference between older men and older women? I guess in a way we're all a little biased when it comes to that. Guys call older women cougars or milfs. Women call older guys zaddies or grand zaddies or sugar daddies, I should say. And, we all have a perception of what that is depending on our sex, depending on whether we're male or female generally, right? So for me, 10 years is my senior, and I usually date older guys. So that's just a given. So when I was in my 20s, I would easily date a 30-year-old or, something like that. Now that I am in my mid 30s, guys that are 10 years my senior are, close to their 50s. So they tend to be my parents' age. They definitely had kids. They're typically grown. They've been married, all of that extra stuff. And I always used to kind of think in a way, I kind of figured, it's the same 10 years, but I feel like a 10 years is a big difference as far as the wisdom and experience that we gain. So, even though each decade is important, there are decades that we can remember from beginning to end, and it literally shaped who we are. So I always kind of thought that older men might be manipulative. Even older women might be manipulative. Like a 35-year-old woman with an 18-year-old little boy. Well, I'm not going to say a little boy because he is legal. So, but you know what I mean? So I always thought it might be manipulative. Like it's always something that they're getting out of it. Now, don't get me wrong. With every relationship, whether they're the same age as you, you're married, whatever, we use each other. Not to say that it's anything wrong with that. You both agree to use each other for whatever reason you're using it for. So I get love from you, you get love from me. You provide protection, I provide nurturing. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that's what I mean. I don't mean anything negative by it, but I always thought like if you were older that it was easier to manipulate the younger person because the younger person hasn't had said experiences that you did. So when it comes to like kids, if you're a 25-year-old woman and you're dating a 40-year-old man, there's a good chance that that man doesn't want kids, right? Let's say that man doesn't want, he's been through it. He just wants to relax and travel. He doesn't really want to go out, all the extra stuff. But as a 25-year-old woman, you do. What do you do then? Are you going to bypass all of that stuff just to deal with that person? Would that be considered a red flag to you? I mean, for me, it kind of would, just for the simple fact I am a free spirit and I want to live my life. And I don't feel as though you should have to completely alter your life if you don't want to for someone. And if you do alter your life, it's not for that person. They might encourage you or they might be part of the reason that you want to change. But all in all, any change that you make, it should be because you want it to change. So I never really been the type of person that like, oh, I broke up with a guy like, oh, well, I did this for you. I did that for you. No, whatever I did, it was because I wanted to do. I just happened to be with you when I did it. You know what I mean? So would you think that a woman would be better if she did deal with somebody that didn't want kids, didn't want to get married, and they dealt with them for 10 years of their life and the person gave them nothing and then, they broke up, they met the next person and then married them and then messed around and had a kid? Like, to me, if that happened to me, I swear that I would feel like on some acrimony shit. Like, I would flip the hell out. And simply is because I just don't understand it. Like, okay, I don't want what you want. You don't want what I want. We can be friends and just keep it moving, right? It goes back to my last episode. I believe it was episode 3. Cornballery, convenience, and complacency. Because I genuinely don't get that. You know what I mean? Like, why would I start off a relationship with somebody knowing that they don't want what I want? Like, that is so stupid to me. And then when that person is flipping the hell out and doesn't want to be bothered, don't touch them, don't this, don't that, you're wondering why. It's because they never liked it that. They never wanted to do this. They never wanted to do that. You know what I mean? It's actually episode 2. Convenience, complacency, and cornballery. That's one of my favorite episodes. Y'all tap in. But it's just weird to me, right? So I was talking to somebody recently. Actually, I got this whole idea from talking to this person, and they're an older guy. And it seems like a dope guy, but no. So anyway, he was just expressing himself and how like his ex she didn't like to be touched a certain way, and she used a procedure that she had gotten done as an excuse to tell him why she didn't want to be touched this way. And I'm like, I had that procedure and it didn't do that to me. And I mean, to each his own, but it just seems like if you're dealing with someone and you didn't like them to do that to you, that you would just tell them. Like, you could tell someone you don't like it really rough, or you don't like to be touched this way. You don't like to be manhandled. You want to, be touched gently. Like, it's nothing wrong with whatever it is that you like. Like, all of us in some way probably do something that would gross somebody else out. Like, oh my God, they're so freaky, but that same thing that person is saying, like, oh my God, that's so freaky too. We would then look at somebody else that's quote unquote kinkier than us, like, oh my God, they're so freaky. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all about perception and what you want to do. So if you want to do that with somebody, so be it. But how do freaky people know they like to do these things to each other if they haven't talked about it or at least tried it, right? So it's all trial and error. So if I'm dating and committed with somebody and we have relations and all of that stuff, I have a love language, and I'm going to tell you that love language. Like, I want to know if you truly understand me and we're able to communicate and all of that stuff, because, when our body parts aren't working anymore, like, am I still going to be your friend? Like, do I still want to be in the same house with you? Like, can I see myself spending the rest of my life with you? Are we friends? You know what I mean? So, with doing all of that, he tried. They eventually broke up. And I'm like, I'm telling him, I'm like, I don't know nothing. But, at the end of the day, it seemed like she had a lot of baggage she was dealing with. You obviously still have baggage because I don't even know you like that. And you're telling me all of this stuff. And secondly, she kind of used that as an excuse to not be that intimate with you. So why was she with you? Why were y'all with each other? Because if that was a red flag to you and it's something that bothered you, maybe because you might have genuinely liked her or whatever like that, why did y'all stay together? Like, it's people that I love still to this day. I don't want to be with them. I did a RIP silence for that. I don't want to be with them. You can love someone and not want to be with them. And I think a lot of the times that love is what enables people, like, oh, because I love them, I'm going to stay, or I'm going to allow them to treat me this way. I'm going to allow them to do this or that. Hell no. Nah. And sometimes, society looks at it like, oh, well, she's never going to have a man because she doesn't know how to sacrifice. A person that knows that you are genuinely there for them through and through will sacrifice for you. A lot of times your significant other goes to the other end of the moon for you if you was their person. Just because they your person don't mean that you theirs. Some people are literally just sitting around waiting for the next thing to happen. Again, back to convenience and complacency and cornballery and all that stupid shit, because that gets people hurt. You're messing with people's lives and all of that stuff. How dare you be with me? You don't want to be with me. Like, say it. But I think that a lot of people feel as though there's so many options out here. Like, why? The grass is probably green on the other side. Yeah, it's green and stupid because it's fake. You got the real deal Holyfield over here. But now you have to live with that, because if I was an option, then you should always go with the other one, baby. Because I'm a priority first and foremost. So that's what I don't get. But, with him talking and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. I guess, it was an expectation, and I shouldn't have had that of him because I didn't know him. But because he was older, I just, I thought we was going to have a really nice conversation. And the conversation was pretty much about, like, his ex. And she was younger, so he loves younger women. And, I'm like, well, I'm open to marriage, more kids, da-da-da. And we just started ranting about why would you want kids? Why would you want a kid that's 38 years older than you? I mean, younger than you. Why would you, want to be older when you have I'm like, how much damn wisdom I'm about to install in my kids? Now, my whole thing is I need to be married first. So I'm very conscious about that. You know what I mean? But what's the problem? You know what I mean? A lot of times, especially in our society, we had kids before we was married anyway. We had kids a lot of the times with people that we wasn't even going to end up with. But we made it happen. We had to do what it do, because at that moment we felt that it was going to last, right? So you can't tell me 16 years ago I didn't think that I would be my son's father. That's why my son is here. You know what I mean? Like, but stuff happens. Life happens. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to be with anybody that's going to make me stagnant or, make me feel less than, or like my goals for our family isn't first and foremost and a priority, and you're not helping me to get to that point. We're not striving for that. You're a liability and not an asset. It's not saying that, that's my son's father, but no. You know what I mean? Like, everything is yin and yang. Everything is a positive and a negative. No matter what you look at, there is always two sides to a situation. Up and down, baby. You got to have that balance. And as men and women, or as counterparts, significant others, we balance each other out. So if your person doesn't know when to balance you out or when to do this or that, then why are we doing this? You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of times when it comes to like older and younger relationships, I think because the older has that patience and that is wise, they're more calm and stuff like that. They make the younger ones think, while the younger ones are more like a firecracker. They bring that youthful, childlike thing to the relationship. The older person also brings that older aspect, not as a parent per se, but like they kind of help the younger person grow up, and the younger person helps the older person have more fun, tap in to more of now, current, recent, in the moment. So should the older person be established, with that being said? Like, should this person have like a career, a house, a pension, 401s, own cars, all of that stuff? Or should they, are they allowed, I guess you could say, to still be figuring it out like a younger person would, right? And if an older person is established, are they automatically going to want somebody younger to be established because they don't want to feel like they're being used? Now, with that being said, can a younger person be the sugar daddy or sugar mama as well? Because, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been with an older guy, and it was like, it made me feel weird that he paid for so much stuff, because it was like, what are you paying me for exactly? You know what I mean? Like, I need an invoice with a list of the things that you're giving me this money for. Because it was just like, I didn't ask, and it was just, but that was his way of showing me that he liked me, that he cared for me. And he was older. And I think that's probably the oldest guy that I ever dealt with. But it also has been young guys that, they out here. So it's like, oh, whatever, let's go. What you want to do? You know what I mean? We go get lunch for $100 and something. Like, just regular little stuff, but just showing you again that you care. So, I guess I could go both ways with that. Which I think. Make sure y'all be hitting me up. Let me know what y'all thoughts is. So, because we are having a conversation. So you hear everything that I am saying. But I want to hear from you guys too. Motives, let's go. Let me know what's going on. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, what do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer an older person or a younger person? How old is your significant other? So for me, like I said before, I prefer older men, but now that I'm getting older, I don't really like young guys. When I say young, I mean, like, I'm in my 30s, they're in their 30s. I don't really go into 20s or anything like that. I do feel as though I'm a very bold, outgoing, boisterous woman. So I can be intimidating to some men. So I simply feel as though any man that has the quote unquote balls, like, to walk up to me, to say stuff to me, then it's okay. Because once I smile, it's like, oh yeah, you feel like you got me now. Like, oh, I'll probably get her number, not. But you know, I'm gonna say hi regardless. Like, I'm just not a rude person. I don't feel as though I'm a big flirt. I've heard that. I feel like I'm friendly. I'm hospitable, stuff like that. So it's like, yes, like, I love being down south. I love being in the country, because when you're in the country, everybody gonna say hello to you. They're gonna hold the door, all of that. Sometimes with being in the city, it's like people move so fast, you don't even know. Like, a missing person could walk by you, and you don't even know that missing person walked by you. In the country, they remember that lady that pulled up with them plates from out of town, and she got a piece of chicken, and she was trying to pump her gas and had trouble, so that guy helped her pump that gas. They know the whole thing. She had a plaid shirt and a little scrunchy thing in her hair, and she bought a Slim Jim. Like, they remember stuff like that. So I love that about out there. In addition to that, I think the oldest significant other I had was probably like 5 years older than me. He gave me a run for my money though. He was very, very fit. I mean, literally, like, running and stuff. He was a very fit guy. So I have dealt with a guy that's like 42, 43. That's usually about as far as I go now. But I'm simply open to it. So as long as you have your shit together, you know what you want out of life. Like, I'm a busybody, so you got to be moving, because I run circles around like Sonic the Hedgehog, Tasmanian Devil, whoever you want to call it. And even though guys try to act like they're okay with it, a lot of times they're not. And I can say that I'm okay with it, but I'm not. Like, I need you to be running around too. I gotta be like, yo, I'm about to hop this plane for work. You want to come? And you be like, yeah, because you're about your business, so you can work remote as well. You know what I mean? Or at the least, like, all right, I can't come with you next week, but plan something after that. Like, I am a actions person. Let's go. And the guy was telling me, like, oh, that's fine. Like, yeah, I'll be with you. I'll have kids with you, but you're the one that's going to be talking to the kid after I die. And I'm just like, wow, like, you really would say some shit like that? Like, that shit was unbelievable to me. And, he would say things like, oh, well, won't you just go off and have a kid and then you come back to me? And I'm like, we don't even have to start this. Like, he really don't know. He nailed that coffin down and buried himself last night, because he's never going to get another date out of me, But like, I love, for the most part, I used to talk so much, tell people so much about myself, and I swear I'll blow some of that energy off with podcasting. This is why I love it so much. But I used to talk and tell people so much about myself, and it allowed them to use what they wanted against me, be manipulative or whatever. I was always over giving, over sharing, over loving. I was just over everything. Everything is over. You know what I mean? You never have to question how I feel for you, because I'm consistently show you. And it's discerning. It's realizing that, hey, You don't gotta do all of that. You don't have to talk that much. Like, I speak when spoken to, sweetheart. I got people. I could talk to my motives all day. What up, sis? What up, bruh? How you doing? You know what I mean? This right here, what we got, I could do this all the time. You know what I mean? Because this is still depth. You know what I mean? This is still us learning from each other. Me making you think. You know, you writing into me, y'all, you giving me your feedback and all that stuff. That's me applying this stuff in. Because if you want to hear it, somebody else want to hear it. You know what I mean? And everybody has their audience. You have your people, and you are my people. I am your people. You know what I mean? But if this is not that, why force it? You know, now it's a total difference with, like, let's say meeting an older guy. He might not have his stuff together and he's trying. And, you know, we go through ups and downs all the time. Life's like a bridge. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but you will get over it, you know? And, you know, that's different. Like, it's different being there for somebody that just got a rough patch, and different from somebody that's just stuck in a rough patch and not looking for a way to change it. Like, they're okay with the patch and the roughness. Like, nah, no. And, you know, so be it. Everybody doesn't have that mind frame. You can't give everybody that mind frame, but people have to be able to live their lives to whatever accord they want to live it to. And I simply would never want somebody to simply do something just because I want them to do it. And I don't expect nobody to do something for me just simply because I want them to do it. You know what I mean? If I do it, it's because I could do it because it's you, you know, so that's part of the reason that makes me want to do it. But I would never just be like, okay, well, I'm going to get married because they want to get married. I'm going to have this man kid because he want to have a kid. No, it has to be 50. It has to be balanced with that, 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, this is an open discussion. Like, we both want this. And people don't understand that. When people are committed to something and they're on the same page, typically it's going to work because they have that foundation. They solid. You know, so it's hard for you to just come in banging their house down, burn their house down, you know what I mean? Trying to kick their doors in because they solid. Now, if this is, oh, we were just flinging, we're not together, but we pay each other's bills and, you know, we don't want to be committed, but I know of the family and I am your sister's godfather. Like, it's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, just commit. Like, why is it so hard to be with people that you want? So I do feel as though with that dynamic with older and younger, it does balance out a little bit. So who is likely to want to marry? Do you think that the younger person will want to marry or the older person? It all depends. I feel like if the person never got married, they might want to experience it. I feel like a lot of the times when people are married and divorced, they're kind of over it. It's kind of like a one deal for them. Like, all right, yeah, I tried it. It didn't work. No. You know, especially depending on how messy it might have been, or, you know, how what their experience was pretty much with that divorce and stuff like that. So, you know, it's that, but it all depends on the person to me for the most part. Would you date someone who didn't want to get married or have kids? I would say I would not. I feel like I'm at the age where I'm not really doing no flings or situationships anymore. I feel like at the end of the day, if we're not watering the same plant and putting it out to sun, that it's a no. You know, we can be cool. We could be a part of the same circle, friends, platonic. But I'm not going to consciously waste time with anyone that doesn't want the same thing that I want. And a lot of people don't understand. It's like when you and a person aren't getting along when y'all first meet, or you notice that y'all bicker a little bit, that's going to be a problem later. That's a no. You know what I mean? Like, it's different to agree to disagree, but if we're bickering or they just always cut you off or trigger you or all the extra stuff, that's a problem. Now, them triggering you is none of their business because those are your triggers. How are they to know that? You know what I mean? But if a person is just straight up being obnoxious and doing things because they know they're going to get a reaction out of you, like, that's some childish, petty shit. And it's like, that's a no. You know, because if you genuinely want to get to know me or understand me, you're going to ask me questions so you know that if you cross those boundaries, what, you know, like you consciously don't want to cross those boundaries, period. You do not want to cross none of those boundaries. You want to make sure that you make that person feel as comfortable, secure as possible. Not just sit there and see they got a wound and stick your whole hand in there and turn it. No. So I don't really get that. But I think because, like I was saying before, since younger people are seen as youthful, the older wants to be around them for fun. And, the younger person wants to be around the older person because they have that wisdom and stuff like that. So, RIP to Aaliyah. Age ain't nothing but a number. Let me know what you guys think. Age ain't nothing but a number. As always, always love. To respond to a question, make a suggestion for an episode, to be a guest, or give feedback, reach out to us at info@tonemotivates.com. You can also find us on social media at Tone Motivates on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and at Shades of Tone _podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can find us at tonemotivates.com, where all of those links are as well.